And sorry, my husband wanted to talk to me as soon as the call started. But anyways, this is our Tuesday night Freedom Team Training call. We have an amazing guest speaker tonight. She's a Diamond Ambassador with, and she's got just an amazing story to share. And I just want to go ahead and you guys probably have some plans and want to get back to your activities. So go ahead, go to our guest, Phallin. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you for having me on. I met Nikki in Hawaii at the luau, and she was an absolute blast to get to know there. So I'm going to share my story, and I think it's important that we don't compare journeys. Everybody's story is going to look different, and it's important that we focus on our own, and not to despise or not be happy with any part of our story, because everybody's is going to look different. And my story is one of not so much success at the beginning. It kind of took me a little bit to figure all this out, but when I did, my team actually exploded. So, and most of that was personal growth and my mindset. So I joined Plexus in July of 2013, and I hit gold in 5 months, and then I got stuck, and I sat there at gold for 19 months. This is in the age of Sonia Dudley hitting diamond in 10 months, and my upline and my sidelines, they were hitting diamond in 9 months, and I am like, it's been nearly 2 years here, and I'm still gold. But something about me is I'm not a quitter, and I absolutely don't give up on anything. So I decided I wasn't going to give up on Plexus or on myself, and I knew that I needed to figure this out. So Lori Welch is my sponsor, and she had reached out to me in a cold message. We hadn't talked in about 5 years. And she messaged me because she knew I was looking for a business opportunity. And I joined right away, but I didn't have a lot of skills that I needed. I had never done personal growth, never really read anything to help myself grow as a person, but I thought, for sure, I'm going to be diamond in 10 months. I already knew how to dream big, and I was really excited to do this, and had a lot of goals, had a lot of plans, but it didn't happen. And so naturally, when people are stuck and they're not ranking up as fast as everybody else, you want to blame somebody, and it's usually not yourself. So I blamed the back office. This was the back office before the back office we have now. And I thought for sure my website was broken. None of my customers could order. None of my ambassadors could join. But somehow everybody else's were. I was focusing on all the wrong things. Every little problem seemed like a huge problem to me. I complained about the products not working. I complained that nobody wanted to join. I pretty much complained about everything, and I actually complained about it in the team page. So they had to remove me from team pages because I was being really negative and I was bringing other people down. So I was a real troublemaker, and I'm not afraid to say it because I definitely have changed, and now I can explain to my team why we don't allow the negativity, why we don't allow these public voices of complaining. It just drags everybody down. So I learned, but Lori had a lot of recommendations for books, and I really wanted to take the books and hit her over the head with them because I was so sick of her telling me that I just needed to read a book. Well, I finally got desperate enough, and I was pregnant for baby number 5, and I was like, all right, that's it. I'm just going to read these books, and we'll see if some sort of magic happens because I'm at my wit's end. Nothing else is working. I feel like I'm doing everything right, but I'm not ranking up. So for about 9 months, I did a lot of reading and personal growth and really took everything to heart that I was reading. So I never quit posting on Facebook. I never gave up on any of that. I kept posting, kept reaching out to people, but at the same time, I was learning and growing myself. And the best way to learn and grow is through reading and watching videos, but also putting things into practice. If you quit your business just to do personal growth, you're never going to get the full benefit. You have to have both of them combined so you can practice what you're learning. So what happened over those 9 months was January 2015 came around, and of course we all have New Year's resolutions, and mine was, I'm going to do this. I'm drawing my line in the sand. I'm getting rid of all of my excuses, and nothing's going to hold me back. So the first thing we did was we went up to Michigan. We're in Georgia, and we drove 17 hours with the 4 kids, and we went up to Michigan, and I hosted 2 events. I invited probably 300 people that I thought were close friends and family, and 2 people showed up. And I was mortified. I was embarrassed that anybody showed up, because if nobody showed up, at least nobody would know that nobody showed up. So it was really embarrassing. But when you have haters, when you have naysayers, when you have doubters, people who don't believe in you, you have 2 options. You can either let them bring you down and you can quit, or you can let that drive you to be successful. And I was listening on an audiobook recently, Secrets of a Millionaire Mind, and they actually talk about that in there, that you have a choice. You can let them bring you down, or you can do the opposite, let it drive you. And I remember sitting there on the way home. I wasn't crying. I was just irritated that nobody showed up. Nobody supported me. These are friends I'd had for 20 years. And I said, you know what? The next time I go to Michigan, I'll be driving a Lexus, and I'll just be waving at them from my Lexus. And I just had this force that was driving me to be successful, not to necessarily prove them wrong, but kind of. Just like, I can do this. You all want to make fun of me and laugh and think that I can't be successful. I'm going to show you that I can. So that was January of 2015. I totally went all in. All my excuses were gone. My mindset, my negativity totally left. I stopped telling myself I couldn't do this. I stopped telling myself I didn't have time. I stopped telling myself I had too many kids. I stopped saying that I had no people skills. I would tell myself, I don't like people. I don't like people all the time. Just not a people person. And when you're in the people business of relationships, people can sense that. And what you're telling yourself all day long it's going to show up in your actions. It's going to show up like there's a presence about you. So it's really important to tell yourself positive things. So it's something I totally didn't want to do. I thought Lori Welch was crazy for telling me I need these positive affirmations, but it was another one of my, okay, so the books helped. I guess I'll do this. It's stupid, but I started saying I had the fastest growing team in Plexus. I started saying that everybody needed the products and everybody wanted Plexus. And I stopped saying anything negative. So any negative thought of I don't have time, I would look at Kristen Abar or Brenda Martin and say, well, they have a lot of kids too. They homeschool too, and they're diamonds. So I really have no good excuse here. So it's really taking any negative thought and turning it into something positive and constantly retraining your mind. So that was in January. I started saying all of that too. And I stopped looking at the back office also. So after I hit gold the first time, I was like a major back office stalker. Like, okay, when am I going to hit senior gold? And that constant stress and pressure, it wears you down when you don't hit those goals. So I said I wasn't going to look in the way of, I got to hit this next goal. I need one more person. I decided I was going to help the people on my team get what they want and not worry about what I wanted, because I knew that by helping as many people as I could get results with the products, get their own home-based business, that I would eventually get what I wanted. And really, I was sick of focusing on myself. I just didn't care anymore. So to focus on somebody else majorly helped. So I had hit gold, like I said, and sat there for 19 months. I lost all but 15 points. It was probably my mom, my sister, and some other close friend. But everybody else, poof, disappeared. Had to learn some things about following up too. But they're all gone. So I was rebuilding, and I was excited about it. I wasn't depressed. I wasn't looking at everybody else. I just knew my journey was different. And in April, I hit senior gold, and I was like, oh my gosh, well, that's cool. Look how fast that happens. And then after that, I hit ruby 2 months later. Then I hit senior ruby the next month. And in October, the very next month, I hit emerald. 3 months later, sapphire, and 2 months after that, diamond. So for a total of 14 months, I went from basically 0 points to diamond, whereas before I was stuck at gold for 19 months, losing points every month. And the only thing that changed was my mindset and believing that I could do this and my personal growth. So when you're doing personal growth, you're knowing you're learning something. If every page is like, oh my gosh, this is so good, I just have to call somebody and tell them how amazing this book is. So that's how you know you're taking it all in. So I was taking everything in, and I was just surprised at how fast it happened. And it didn't feel like work. It was fun. I loved it because I had passion, I had enthusiasm, and I had a strong why. And that's another thing that's important, is having a strong why, because that's what's going to get you out of bed in the morning. Plexus should never feel mundane. If it feels mundane, like it did for me the first time around, your team's not going to want what you have. They're not going to want to do Plexus. There has to be excitement, and you have to be contagious. You have to want what people have to want what you have. So all that to be said, I also went through the back office change. I went emerald the month we got our new back office, and everything was crazy and shipping issues, but I never allowed a negative word from anyone in my downline. We were all so positive, and our downlines just reflected what we did. Because when somebody said, oh, the shipping, it's just terrible, we would tell them, look, this is an amazing opportunity that you get to be a part of. We're a baby company. That means huge opportunity. You're not going to find these paychecks in another MLM that's been around for a while. There's going to be growing pains, but it's totally worth it because you're on the ground floor. And we would tell them that. So people were excited. They didn't care about the shipping issues or any of the other stuff that we had going on. So I think the personal growth is what helped me, focusing on relationships and connecting to people, not focusing on myself and the next goal, but we're really here to help people. And not focusing on, okay, I need to hit diamond. I need 4,500 points. Oh my gosh, how am I ever going to get there? That thought never crossed my mind, because I knew if I was duplicating and training people, I knew that it would happen. So I was going to do a post on Facebook tonight, but this time last year I had 1,700 people on my team, and right now I have over 6,000. So it goes to show you the growth in a year, how fast things can multiply. So I think that's all that I had as far as my story, but I mean, I could talk all day about this.
Oh, goodness. I'm the same way. I could get on some major soapbox. So, guys, did you hear that growth in a year? And it's all because of her mindset. Thank you, Phallin. I mean, just for instilling that, and her belief and her passion and her excitement. How could you not want to join her ship and be in her vessel with her, with all that positivity and just the mindset that she can do this? But prior to that, did you hear how her mindset was? She was getting kicked off of team pages, guys. This is, I love that part, because a lot of times we have our team pages set to where we have to approve the comments and stuff, because if it's and what could be portrayed, your comment, your post might not even be negative, but if someone can spin with it, and the comments are what get out of control. And so because of that, we have to set boundaries, because our mindset is contagious, and our success is what's between our ears. That is it. That success is between our ears. So, Phallin, what can you say your daily IPA is? What is your magic to your growth in that last year? I mean, what do you have to tell us?
I would say around that time, like how many people I personally sponsored, it always changes and it looks different for everyone. but I would personally sponsor about 5 people a month, 3 to 5. But what I really focused on was creating leaders. I think you can recruit people all day long, but if you're not creating leaders to create leaders, it really doesn't do any good. So I did a lot of what we learn now are called coaching calls with 3 runners. And it just so happens that I have another batch of 3 runners. So it's people who have influence. They're coachable. That's the biggest thing. They have to be coachable. They have to be someone you love to be with, because you're really doing life together. So we'd get on the phone and we would talk, and I would train them and watch how they're duplicating with their teams. So I like to focus on creating leaders, not just signing people up and then, letting them just be wholesalers.
I agree with that. With what I do, I constantly work with my downline. First, I try to take care of myself. When you're on that plane, that flight attendant that says, give yourself oxygen before you give it to someone else. So every morning I fill myself up, and then I pour into my runners. And I love how she says that duplication. So there's truly no magic in it. She just had action every single day, some sort of action to pour into someone. And I don't see numbers. I don't say, oh, you're level 6 or 7, I can't work with them. No, if you're willing to be a leader of influence and credibility, you add value to our team. And I love what she has to say about that. So you mentioned you have kiddos, so I'm assuming you're busy, right? How can you work this and be busy? Because I get that a lot of times where I'm just too busy. So tell us, busy mama.
Well, I homeschool and I cook all my own food. My kids, 2 of them just had Chipotle for the first times in their entire lives. They've never had fast food. So I do a lot myself. So what I would do is schedule my day. They take naps. I definitely put them all down for naps, and they have bedtime. So for 2 to 4 hours a day, I would have those dedicated times where I would work on stuff that I couldn't focus on when they were awake. So I'd be on the phone a lot while they were awake and they're swimming in the pool, or I'm doing laundry. And then while they were sleeping, I would never watch training videos while they were sleeping. I would never do anything that I couldn't multitask with while they were sleeping. That was where I'd be contacting people, doing the follow-ups, thinking of a good post on Facebook, because I focus a lot on attraction marketing. And then people come to you. If you look it up on YouTube, attraction marketing, there's so much. So I really just divide my day. What can you do while they're awake? What can you do while they're asleep?
So you do things with focus and intention. Guys, are you loving this? I mean, what she has to say is something that is applicable to every single one of us. So what I love is she is so amazing that she just, it's not rocket science. It's just action every single day. Just doing something, having belief in yourself, being positive, doing your personal development. I know you guys get so sick of hearing us say that, and she was like the same way with her sponsor, but do you agree 90% of this business is personal development? What do you feel about that?
If I ever have anybody stuck on my team, and I heard Sonia Dudley say this, it's always personal growth. They are stuck because they have something they need to grow through. And your team, very rarely can you find someone you sign up who will surpass you in your it's called the law of the lid. If your lid is here, you're not going to find people who go above it. So you have to keep raising it. And that's through personal growth and working on yourself, and just not sitting there reading the book like, oh, I got to read it. And you're not really getting anything out of it. You have to be getting something out of it. And it has to be something you can apply. And just listening to other diamonds on calls or other jewels, or someone who's even a lower ranking, but they're excited and they're passionate, that gets you excited and passionate too.
And last but not least, the most important thing she said kept her going, got her going in the morning was her why, guys. You hear us saying all the time, your why has to be strong enough that it can make you cry. And if you find yourself and you get on a roll and you're on fire and you're ready to do this, you're ready to the top, and then all of a sudden you fall off the wagon or whatever, that is, we need to refocus and revisit our why. Do you agree or disagree?
I 100% agree, because there's a shift that happens when you hit diamond. It's like, okay, I attained this goal. And then you kind of sit there like, I'm making this huge paycheck. I'm still doing the work. But I lost my fire. I lost my passion. My team was still exploding, but I didn't feel that. You have to have a big why. Now my why is to help my team. So when I get on a call with someone who's going gold, it's for them. And I'm excited and passionate for them. But at the beginning, you have to find out what it is. Do you want to retire your husband? Do you want to send your kids to a private school? Do you need to get into a bigger house because you're fighting over the bathroom and you have 8 kids? You know, whatever it is, it has to motivate you. So my why was to bring my husband home. He was a truck driver. I saw him 3 days a month, and it was crazy. I had the kids all to myself. So when I was changing diapers, bathing the other 4, and on a coaching call, I would say, I don't ever want to have to do this again. So I didn't let the fact that I was doing it all by myself stop me. I let that drive me. So sometimes you'll hear women who want to retire their husbands. And they're like, I just don't have time to work. He's never home. I have all these kids. That's not a good excuse. If you ever want him home, or if you ever want to quit your job, you have to make some sort of sacrifice. So you work a lot of hours nursing and you don't like what you're doing. You're going to have to sacrifice your lunch break, your football games, your TV shows temporarily in order to make this happen. And I think I'm going to go off on a soapbox here, but people who they get half in, they have half of their foot in and half of it out. They never get the momentum going because they're not giving it their all. Eric Worre talks about this. You have to go full throttle. You have to get off the runway and go fast because it's easier. And I think a lot of people lack belief in network marketing and what this is. But if you do this, if you work hard for a year or 2, your life can look totally different. The paychecks are insane, but it is going to take some sacrifice. If you look at anybody who grew really fast, it's because they made sacrifices temporarily.
Well, thank you so much. I don't want to keep you any longer, but what she said, I can get on a soapbox of sacrifices too. It's my passion. In the beginning, you guys have heard my story. I was a teacher. I drove 40 miles one way. My kiddos had activities. We were never home. I'd get home at 10 o'clock at night. I'd work my business till 11. I'd wake up 30 minutes early in the morning just to work my business. It's just small-term sacrifices for that long-term gain. What are you willing to sacrifice? So your call to action, I want you guys, after this is over, to sit down and think about, what are you willing to sacrifice? That DVR, that whatever it is, your guilty pleasure, utilize that time in the school pickup line. What sacrifice are you willing to make in order to have some long-term gain, whatever your why is, whether it to be retire yourself, retire your husband, both of y'all be stay-at-home parents, say, retirement, whatever it may be. I want you at the end of this call to write down your why, what it's going to take to get to your why every single day, the sacrifices you can make, because I guarantee you every single diamond, every single jewel, they live a busy, busy life and still have to make sacrifices to this day. It's just we constantly go back to our why. Why are we doing this? And that's ever changing. But I can tell you, Phallin, we are not her downline at all. But she did this because this is part of her why, just seeing other people succeed. I thank you so much for joining me on this call and investing your time on this love day. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Thank you for having me on here, Nikki.
Bye, Phallin. And guys, I'll just talk with you a few more minutes and we'll end with our prayer. I don't want to keep anyone much longer. But I just hope you guys were able to take away some little nuggets of what she was able to share with you today, because she is a rock star. And if you listen to her journey, it's much like a lot of ours. She went backwards. She had those pity parties. She mentioned it. She got kicked off the team pages. She's had adversity. She's had stumbling blocks. But those who succeed push through every stumbling block that gets in their way. So anyways, I just want to go ahead and end and close with our just our prayer. And thank you guys for jumping on and investing in yourself. That's what this is about. Plugging into these team calls, you are charging your battery and investing in yourself. So just go ahead and bow your heads with me. And I just want to start in with prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, I want to thank you just once again for this amazing blessing that you have given us with this opportunity, with the people you have brought into my life and all of our lives together. There's just something about this that just brings a community and culture I haven't seen anywhere else. And I just pray that you can help give everyone the clear vision that Phallin and I and Tammy and all of your leaders have. And I just pray that you can have the boldness and the boldness and the passion to remember your why, to get your why strong enough to keep going and push you through. And I just pray over our business, our company, our executives, our leaders, just our sidelines, just everybody to just link arms and run with us together. And I just pray that we all can just run together and just make our own path and not let our vessels become paralyzed and just keep on going for the top, whatever your goals may be. In your name I pray, amen.